What's my experience with the Walther P22? Well, I've never loved a gun that I hate so much. Let me explain. I'll start with a metaphor. I despise working out, largely due to that dreaded moment right before exercise when I'm sitting there contemplating all the excuses for why I could possibly get out of doing it today. It's agonizing. Just thinking about the discomfort I'm about to put myself through is harrowing. Though I guess it must be worth it because day after day I continue to do it, albeit solely for the physical benefits. I love what it does for me and how it makes me feel when I'm finished. My P22 experience has been somewhat like this, a painstaking exercise in patience for a mostly worthwhile end result. So let's get to the good news first. Why is it worth it? Well, for one, the P22's got real nice P99 aesthetics, and in current versions the PPQ-esque design is on point. It's slick, light, and extremely ergonomic for such a tiny little handgun. Seriously, I'd usually have fingernails digging into my palms and bunch up fingers on these little pea shooters, but the P22 somehow manages to shrug off the laws of physics to allow multiple hand sizes to feel at ease. And my wife absolutely loves it. It's her favorite gun to shoot. But the guys like it too. It has just enough modern flair and tacticalness to draw some interest. And anytime I'm taking a beginner to the range, it's a good place to start. The 22 long rifle, as you'd expect, is virtually recoilless, making for easy multiple round engagements and fast transitions. And the P22's double action to single action makes quick work of those paper targets. The single action is good at only 4 pounds with a short reset and relatively smooth travel. And the blowback design also aids in decent accuracy even out of this 3.4-inch barrel. Plus the 10-round match provide just enough trigger pulls to make for interesting sessions. So what I have right here specifically is the P22Q Tactical Talo in FDE. It's one of many variants. The only major differences with this edition are the included threaded barrel adapter, high-vis fiber optic front sight with the adjustable rear, plus this slick FDE color. The Q at the end represents the later versions of the P22, as I mentioned, now molded with a more PPQ-like grip texture. They also eliminated that stupid internal lock and added some more slots on the integrated pick rail. This Q version isn't the first P22 I've owned either. I've had several of these over the years, but this one is my current favorite. Again, overall it's the same gun, same frame, same slide, same grip materials, all that, just a little makeover. I am a big fan of the upgraded fiber optic front sight. No tritium to dim over the years and no batteries to replace. It's a great upgrade over the traditional 3-dot sights on most of your P22s. You're still going to have that short sight radius, but it's nothing out of the norm for those who are used to carrying compact handguns. Regardless of your version of P22, I fully recommend the threaded barrel adapter as an upgrade. Want to see a grown man giggle? Give him one of these with a suppressor. Even supersonic ammunition generally stays subsonic out of that short barrel. It brings it down close to airsoft level decibels. So truly, a 22 pistol really is the Mac Daddy when it comes to shooting with a can. Sure, larger calibers are technically impressive, but the whisper-quiet action of a little 22 and cheap, affordable, and subsonic qualities of ammunition out of a handgun make for some unhindered decisive fun. Every P22, except the California compliant versions, come with the necessary internal threaded barrel. So truly, get the adapter and the tax stamp, and off you go, living up your 007 dreams. Alright, back from my tangent. I mentioned it's light at just over a pound, and the compact profile makes for an easy option for concealment or even carry. Now, whether you trust a 22 long rifle as a carry gun, I'll leave that up to you. I wouldn't do it because of the limited energy and reliability, but not everyone is the same. My wife, for example, is yet to become truly comfortable or proficient with larger calibers, and I'd rather her have this in her glove box than napkins and plastic utensils. So on to the other features. You may have noticed this ambidextrous European style mag release. I feel very comfortable with it. Mag spring free with excitement, and it can be accessed with thumb or forefinger. Though if you're an American style mag release only kind of guy or gal, you may have a different opinion about this. Alright, we're going to transition into the bad news portion of the review, or at least the not so excellent news. First and foremost, I'm not entirely sold on the functionality out of the box. These can be real finicky with ammunition. Now the higher quality stuff runs like a turbine engine, but your bulk box plinking rounds cause frequent malfunctions, at least in my experience. To be fair, after a few hundred rounds of break-in, they do run better, but I've never been able to get any of my P22s to go 100% on cheap ammunition out of the box. So unfortunately, if you want consistent bangs, use only the higher velocity and nicer quality ammunition. But there's other options. If you really want to go all out ADD perfectionist, I did find an awesome source for smoothing out the action of your P22, along with greatly improving its reliability in the process. It's called the Walther P22 Bible. Just throw that up in your Google bar and it should come right up. It's chock full of excellent detailed information and minor modifications to tune your handgun. But disclaimer, do this at your own risk. If you don't feel confident with a little grinding, bending, polishing, and other basic gunsmithing, this isn't for you. But after subjecting my most recent P22 addition to the Bible, it feels and shoots more smoothly, and will even munch on some bulk ammunition. Hours well spent. So that's where that aforementioned extreme exercise and patience comes to play. It is so tedious to spend hours of range time breaking in a gun, or even more time hunched over a bench trying to get a firearm to function the way it should have from the factory. Newer releases do seem to do a little better, but all of my P22s have taken some rounds or work to run the way I would like. And I know it's a 22, and that minuscule little rim cartridge does have some inherent reliability issues. But I have other semi-auto 22s that run near flawlessly from the moment I got them. And I'll note again, the P22 does do that with CCIs and velocitors, but half the reason for shooting a 22 is the cost savings. So I can't help but feel frustration over the P22's performance with my budget ammunition. Beyond that though, I only have minor gripes. For one, the safety is poorly designed if speed is a concern. It's very difficult to manipulate one-handed, but with practice it's serviceable. I'm not sure why they thought this arthritis-inducing location would be acceptable, but it's so integral to the design that it's not changing at this point. Also, that internal magazine safety restricting fire without a magazine inserted is so annoying and a limiting burden. That's also been known to cause problems with the trigger. That should be done away with entirely, as it could be a potential hazard in my opinion. Then these P22s only come with one magazine. I mean, talk about being stingy, man. It's nothing 25 bucks can't solve, but there's no reason I should have to go out of my way to buy these slivers of stainless steel so I can do a single mag swap. I'd rather them increase the price on the gun by $20 to avoid the hassle. But the mags are quite solid, and unlike yesteryear, virtually all of them come with that little extension to give your pinky a place to settle in. Another issue I have with the P22 is the Zinc Slide. I truly believe the slightly higher cost of an aluminum slide would have been worth it. The pot metal of zinc is heavy, almost as much as steel, and far too weak for any abuse or heavy sustainable use. You just might be fine over thousands of rounds, but it might crap out on you. It's a coin flip. Not only would aluminum have been stronger, it's also much lighter, which I can only imagine would help alleviate some of the reliability issues. But even Zinc Slide included, the pistol still only weighs barely over a pound, and for most uses, it won't be a factor in longevity, so it's not a major concern. One final beef I have with the P22 is how much of a pain it is to reassemble. Takedown is simple, but without the reassembly tool, it would be easier to field strip a Glock while wearing mittens. It makes me feel clunky and stupid. Now, I did find a way to get around using the tool, but if your fingers are greasy at all, as they often are after cleaning, it still might not work. But once again, this issue is more of a nuisance than a critical shortcoming. Despite all this drama, I keep coming back to the P22. It's like I'm that girl in high school who can't get enough of a verbally abusive boyfriend. I feed on the negative attention, and overall the experience, as I said, is for some reason worth it. I do expect that part of my infatuation with the P22 stems from my love of the PPQ, which I still regard as one of the best handguns ever made. It's real nice when your 22 popping plinker is so reminiscent of that all-time great. Even though pragmatically speaking they aren't that similar, hammer versus striker, double action versus single action, being 3/4 scale, all of that. All the same, I think it's cool. And again, don't forget there are other P22 variants out there. You're sure to find something to match your refined taste. Be it a custom dip pattern, pretty in pink, OD green, it goes on and on. You could even spring for a 5-inch barreled target model if you need a longer sight radius and some extra velocity. And that's part of the charm. It's commercially successful, so there's lots of them. That means it's going to be around and stay around, plus parts and accessories are very easy to find. So, if you've been mulling over a P22 purchase, consider carefully. It's certainly one of the flyest little pistols on the market. As the years go by, it still feels modern, and it's hard to name a more suitable handgun for a suppressor. It certainly has that intangible cool factor. Just know you're likely to have to work through some break-in periods. Then again, maybe you have more luck than me and don't have issues out of the box. I can only tell you how it's been for me. But after it all, I will say, now that I have my P22 all smoothed out with the help of the P22 Bible, it was worth it.
It's not even gonna penetrate it.
I want to see if it was penetrating.
There you go.